and welcome to another episode of Fire Up. Are we fired up tonight or what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Yeah.
Come on, guys. You can get fired up. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. I mean, after all, at least we didn't have the wake-up call that some others did at 6 o'clock this morning.
Mhm. We had a wake up call at 6 o'clock.
Chauncey Billups and
Oh yeah. And Terry Rozier.
I mean that's Samir, you're muted, just so you know.
Yeah, definitely. All right.
Yeah,
So-
they have been charged by the FBI. Now, I want to say this and with very clear about this. If the FBI comes knocking on your door, guess what? They have the proof. They're not the local police. They don't arrest you on suspicion. They arrest you on something that you can be convicted for.
Yeah,
Yes.
I agree.
Yeah, it's definitely not something we've really seen before, especially with an active head coach. Specifically, kind of a bizarre situation. Especially, and the crazy part is, when the NBA conducted their investigation earlier this year, I can't remember, they conducted one, right? They conducted one, didn't find any evidence to pursue any disciplinary action. But I don't know what caused the FBI to get involved in this matter. I don't know if there was a tip. I don't know if there was something else maybe outside of the sports realm that was connected with this case.
Well,
But
there is something that was connected because the FBI, the head of the investigation, said it. There
Right.
are ties to 3 different mafia from the East Coast. One of them wasn't it the Bambino family?
was one of them.
Yep. And then there was the one that started with the G. Is that Garbenza?
La Costa,
Casa.
La Costa and Garbenza, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it is. This is a RICO case, guys. It's not your normal investigation just into some illegal gambling. This
And
is
it's
a
not
RICO
little
case.
money.
Yeah.
No,
It's not
we're
little money.
talking-
They're talking millions.
I heard it was anywhere from 7. I heard one person say 7 million. I heard one person say 7 billion. So
Yeah,
it's
no,
somewhere in between there.
it's in the billions. Yeah, it's in the billions.
I mean, this is still an ongoing case. We're just finding out about it today. So, again, as I mentioned before we got on, I think it is more likely than not that this is not just an NBA related case. Because again, they said professional athletes. They didn't say professional basketball players. So it'll be interesting to see what other leagues, what other sports, what other players and whatnot were involved.
And
Yeah,
it
this could just be the beginning of it, right?
Yeah.
Right. And just to make it clear, they said former, not current professional athletes. They said 31. They said Chauncey Billups and 31 other. There are not 32 teams in the NBA, for one thing.
Right.
30. So that's something to think about too. But I not just one place. It's online. It's nationwide. It's actual card games, not the online stuff.
Well, and let's bring it all, full circle. I mean, not only is Portland coach Chauncey Billups charged for the high stakes card games in Vegas, Miami, Manhattan, and part of that's why the FBI is involved, because it involves multiple states. That's part of it too, and the Hamptons. But Heat guard Terry Rozier was accused in a second scheme to concoct fraudulent bets by exploiting confidential information about NBA athletes and teams. Now that's going to get to that's a whole different level. Like it's one thing to be, rigging a game that you're playing, but it's another thing. And we talked about, like, that's the whole reason why Pete Rose isn't in the Hall of Fame. He bet on his he bet on his team. They're talking about disclosing confidential information so people can make bets and make money off these bets.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, the players find out, what is it, like 6 hours before the game. I mean, obviously, I guess it's something like that. It's before the public does. They have access to knowledge before the public. Is what I'm getting at. They also have because they practice on the floor 1 or 2 days because let's face it, the NBA, it's not just one game and you go away. You play 2 or 3 games in that town when you're in town. So that means you get a chance to see schemes, something they do in practice. What if they're telling the scheme, hey, this team uses this? You can beat that.
The other thing is both these men are facing money laundering and wire fraud conspiracy charges. And they're expected to make their initial court appearance later Thursday. They also arrested former NBA assistant coach and player Damian Jones, who is charged with participating in both of these schemes.
Damian Jones, yeah, he's a former Detroit Piston, and of course, Chauncey Billups is a former Piston, as we know. This is just very serious stuff. And the people in Detroit that have known Chauncey and loved him as far as being a player and as an athlete, total shock here in the Motor City right now, because Chauncey Billups would have been one of the last names we would ever hear to be involved in some crooked stuff like this. But
that's why.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, especially if you're a head coach in the NBA. I mean, yeah, just because you have a position of leadership, it obviously doesn't mean that you are not crooked or acting in a way that is not that would be beneath that position. But from everything I know, Chauncey Billups would be one of the last people that you would expect to be involved in that. So that's why, like, I'm not questioning the validity of the case, because usually when the feds are involved, they have something on you that they can use to convict you.
Right.
But it's just, the whole thing is strange, and I think it's one of those long cases that we're going to have to wait and see pan out.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Hello, Sharon.
I agree. They're saying the poker scheme cheated at least $7 million out of unsuspecting gamblers. Now, let me be clear. I'm using my source. My source is The Score. I'm looking at it online. So if anything is incorrect, I apologize, but this is where the source that I'm getting my information from. They do say that the fraud is mind-boggling. We're talking about tens of millions of dollars in fraud and theft and robbery across a multi-year investigation. And somebody else, Norcella, called it one of the most brazen sports corruption schemes since online sports betting became widely legalized in the United States.
Yeah, that's serious stuff, man. Really serious.
Yeah. And they've been investigating them for a while. This is not something that just, is new. On the flip side of that, since we're talking about sports and betting, there were 3 college men's basketball players that were banned from playing basketball in college now because they bet on their sport. Now, the NCAA did approve, as of yesterday, starting November 1st, college athletes can bet on professional sports. I think this is opening up Pandora's box.
Yeah, I agree. Because you're really putting yourself out there, especially if you're being recruited or you're being already looked at as a top draft pick for either the NBA, the NFL, MLB, whatever it is. And you're now allowed to bet on those professional games of a team you may want or may not want to draft you. I mean, this opens up, like you said, Pandora's box.
Hey, George, I want to introduce you to Adam here. I met him through Twitter. He's part of Driving to the Top Productions. And he's also a Pittsburgh Steelers, a Pittsburgh sports fan, but he likes the Cleveland Guardians. So I kind of dislike that about him. But other than that, he's a good guy.
All right.
Whatever.
Hi, Adam.
I would have. What's up, George? How you doing, man? Nice
Good,
to meet
man. Good. Nice to meet you.
you, Jeremy. I would have liked to seen those 15-foot waves rolling through Lake Erie yesterday.
Oh yeah, that would have been great.
So, Adam, to get you up to speed, we talked a little bit about the whole NBA gambling debacle that the FBI has conducted, and now we moved on to the college and how NC2A is, as of November
How much?
1st.
How much did you guys dive into that? Because everyone thinks it started in 2025, but it did not.
No, it started a long time ago. There's
It
3
started in
crime families.
2023, and everyone keeps trying to put this on this current full administration that it was all they're doing, but Christopher Wray was still in charge when this operation started.
Right.
Yeah, because I think it started. Didn't it start like in 2023?
Yeah,
That's what he
that's what I
said.
mean. But
yeah.
like
He said.
Stephen A. was going off, like just blaming the whole Trump administration for this. But it's been on the table since 2023, and everyone, everyone that fails to get mentioned a lot in the reports because people don't want to always put all the facts out there.
Right.
Mhm. No,
Good
no.
point.
But I also don't know, like a year and a half investigation, like how much more do you need to dig into something before you can actually go in and bust it? Because now it's been what, 2 years?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why couldn't Christopher Wray do this? I mean, we know why he was obviously very sidetracked on trying to take down a former president. But anyway, we don't need to get into politics because this is a sports show. But
Amen.
that is my major question. Why didn't the BA administration take on this task and take it down?
I think, sometimes the government doesn't work very quickly. And I think to get all their ducks and really to get the backing and the evidence that they really needed to really, because this is big. This is multi people, multi different even levels, because there's 2 different schemes that we're even talking about. We're talking about that I think it took a long time.
Wasn't Rozier a different indictment than
Yes.
Chauncey?
Yes.
And even what was Daniel Yoakum? Was that the guy? Was that the guard? Was that the Cavaliers assistant coach? Daniel something Yoakum?
There was a who was it? Where is it?
Well, let's put it this way. Other than Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier, there's another 30 former pro athletes.
34.
30.
34 got arrested today.
I know, but 3 of them. What I'm saying is they haven't announced 30 of them. You see what I'm getting at there?
Who was the 4th? Because you said there's 30 out there still. And
One was a rep. One was a former rep.
Oh.
Yeah, they're saying that were arrested Thursday along with more than 30 other people in 2 criminal cases alleging sprawling separate schemes to rake in millions by rigging sports bets and poker games involving mafia families, authorities said.
I know for the mafia, I don't recall any of their names, but I know four families were all involved.
We heard 3 when the FBI director talked this morning. Bambino, La Costa, and what was the other? Gerbanza or something like that, or something.
Yeah.
La Costa Nostra or something. One of them is.
La Costa, yeah.
La Costa Nostra.
It was 3 of them. Sorry, I thought
I didn't hear anything about any officials. Where did you guys see that?
Oh, they announced that right away, that one of them was a former NBA official.
Well, that goes back to the Tim Donahue. We all remember that when he was.
Yeah, but that was way before this.
Oh yeah, I know. But
these guys learn. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Jordan. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say I haven't heard all the facts yet, so that's okay. I think we kind of, covered as much as we can on this right now, and then, as we say, more facts will be coming out.
Yeah, the rest of the names will end up coming out because it's public knowledge once they're arrested.
Right.
Once the actual indictments are filled out. But the main thing I was like telling the viewers is that this was an FBI arrest. This isn't like the sheriff or the local police walking up and doing a knock warrant. The FBI dots their I's and crosses their T's because they're pretty sure they're getting a conviction.
You remember the
It-
NBA wiped this under the table whenever it first came out 3 years ago too.
Yeah, in 2022 is when we first started hearing about all this stuff.
Yeah, because
And the
I
NBA just
remember
go
hearing
ahead,
it
sir.
briefly, but I didn't think much of it because I just assumed that, that was kind of something everybody knew went on behind the scenes for a while.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see where this goes.
I'll
And
be right back. I got to grab a soda.
I'll be curious to see if there is a bigger fish to fry in this whole mess.
well, not only former players, but how many current players are involved.
And then does it cross into any other sports too? Like
Oh,
we've
well-
heard all just NBA, but my
Oh.
guess is it's not just NBA.
Yeah, I mean, I would not be
I mean,
surprised
what-
at all
what-
if you had Major League Baseball players involved. You had
What do you mean? We had I'm sorry, Smear. We had the major ones this year with Colossae and Ortiz.
Right. So, well, there was also another very prominent baseball player who kind of threw his buddy under the bus because of some financial dealings, but that's another discussion for another day. So,
Was it a translator?
yes.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, we know that case.
That got really washed really quick.
Yeah, it did.
And I don't understand how you wouldn't notice $8 million missing from your bank account. And I don't care how stinking rich you are.
It's like if you have a couple hundred missing from your bank account and you notice it.
Right. Like the couple hundred to us is like 8 million to Shohei.
Right.
Oh, I said his name. Am I allowed?
That's fine. It's all out there.
Alright.
So,
Must be talking about Shohei's translator. That's I only caught part of the conversation.
yep.
Right. We're just like, how does Shohei not know? Like, how does he not know that there's
If you actually
betting
read
going
it,
on?
he said he was way behind on some previous gambling debts in Japan, and he asked to borrow the money to pay the debt. That is what came out.
Okay.
Boy, if they let that wash under the wall, then that
Yeah.
means they should have let Bonds' the whole not peeing in a cup wash under the wall too.
Yeah.
Never
Oh,
failed a
boy.
test. He never failed a test.
And then we went from there to how the NC2A now is, as of November 1st, going to allow college athletes to bet on professional sports. And how I said that's opening up Pandora's box, especially for, let's face it, kids. All of a sudden, here's $4.5 million because you have NIL money, and now you can bet on sports. Have you had any classes on protecting that money? Like, I mean, you think about all these people that win the lottery and then they go broke, and I'm kind of scared that they're allowing this now.
I think the biggest one is people forget to pay taxes on that money.
Yeah.
That's part of it.
I think
That's right.
that's how a lot of these millionaire winners go broke.
Yeah, and it's kind of something you've heard about for a while, like for maybe a decade or so. But one thing that a lot of people talk about regarding high school course requirements should be, there should be a class that is required on how to manage finances, on how to manage money, because there are a lot of people that don't know how to do that.
How about do your taxes?
Yeah, well, that's part of finances.
Right, but I mean, there's. Oh, I'm sorry, Jim.
See, when we were kids, and I'm talking about George and Candy and I, home economics covered that. You were taught how to balance a checkbook. You were taught how to do your taxes. You were taught how to cook. You were taught domestic things you need to get by in life. But once the whole core education's changed, and they went away from that, and they went to that core math and core this and core that, all that stuff went out the window.
Well, and I'll be honest, I had that in history. One of my history professors, he sat there and he went around the room and he gave you a job and he said, okay, this is your salary. and granted, this was a little different back in the day because we actually still had newspapers and you could look for jobs, look for apartments in the newspaper. And he would be like, okay, now look for an apartment and make a budget. Now go to the grocery store and make yourself, food. What would you buy? And actually,
Yeah.
okay, here's your electric bill,
Yeah.
here's your water bill, and actually make a budget. And they don't do that anymore.
Right. That was part of our home economics class
Right.
before I graduated in '88.
Yep.
Mhm.
That was high school. It was offered where I went to school too, called Denby High School in Detroit, Michigan. And the home economics, and you're exactly right. It took you through the economics of balancing a checkbook and spending money and coming up with a nice budget. So you and your family had a budget. Nowadays, who knows what these kids get? I don't know if they
Right.
get enough of anything like that.
Right.
It
And I-
does teach you that, but it doesn't teach you how to how to keep your money and prolong it, like how to
Right.
make it grow.
How to-
It just taught you how to spend your money now. All of a sudden, these kids are getting thrown all this money, and what do they know what to do with it?
Right. Exactly. Because I mean, how many kids who are 18, 19, 20 years old, and especially with NIL, how a lot of these kids are making millions.
The ones who came
20
ones-
knows how to manage millions.
the ones who came from rich families are the ones that know what to do with their money because
Yeah.
they're taught it handed down. The rest of them, the people that come from impoverished neighborhoods and stuff like that, they're the same ones that go to the NFL and within 5 years of being retired, they're broke.
Bro. Yeah, and that's one thing that I feel like a lot more universities should have, especially for college athletes who are making NIL, because a lot of these athletes don't know, or well, they grew up or they come from areas where they didn't get hand-me-downs, so they don't know how to manage money and how to manage finances. So I feel like a lot more of these universities need to have support systems, and I'm sure they do. I'm sure a lot more of these teams are starting to have that, but again, I feel like that should be something that's kind of a norm, if
Right.
anything.
Right. All right.
So my whole thing about you got the NIL, you got these kids coming out making millions. Unless they came from a family that made millions, they're not taught it. There needs to be a fiscal responsibility course offered to all athletes that has even a 10% shot of making the NFL or any pro league.
I remember whenever I met Plexico Barris outside of football, he said, I said, how do you manage your stuff? How do you manage your money and everything? And like even what they told him at like the NFL does go through this talk, but it's mainly to like their main thing is make sure you wear a condom so these women don't steal all your money. That's
Right.
basically what he said. That's basically what he said to me and what they took out of everything that they were learning, and that's what it always resorted back to. And I just found that to be like, I know it's truthful, but at the same time, it's not really teaching you how to spend your money because you can
No.
go broke so fast.
Yeah.
I agree, Sharon. That mandatory class, like I said, it should be about, okay, what if I'm making $1 million per year? Because let's go to the bottom end. Let's not talk about at the top. We're talking about the bottom end of the NFL. Those guys all make approximately $1 million a year.
If that.
Right, on an average. I'm saying your average, even
Yeah.
there's guys on the practice squad that make $1 million per year right now. I already know this because because it's the 51 top salaries that count towards the cap. The other two on the active roster plus the whole practice squad does not count against the cap. So anyways, what I'm saying is if you make $1 million, you should put at least 15% into some type of retirement fund. And if it's not a retirement fund, go through a fiduciary and get yourself a mutual money marketing account, which has a monthly yield that's guaranteed anywhere from 0.5% up to 4% per month. That way you are setting yourself up for success.
True. Very true.
I agree. I've seen too many of, and it doesn't even have to be for just athletes. Like this
No.
class really should be for everybody because you're eventually going to get out in the world. You're going to have a job, at least hopefully you will, and you're not living off the
That was
government.
the crazy thing. 1988 was the last year that home ec was a requirement to have before you could graduate. And what's significant about 1988? It was one of the last years you had $3.35 an hour as minimum wage in the state of Michigan. Your average baseline apartment at a slumlord with all utilities paid was $400 a month, which means if you busted your butt, you could pay your rent for a month.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay, we're gonna swing it over from gambling to what does everybody think about the World Series, and I want you to make a prediction of who you think is going to win in how many games. But your thoughts on, and whoever wants to go first can.
Dodgers in 5.
I'm gonna say
got-
Dodgers in 6, and I think it's fascinating not only because it is with the Blue Jays now, a team that I think going into the season, not many expected to be there. Because the thing about the Blue Jays is they've had talent for a few years now. They just could never get over the hump. They made the playoffs a couple of times as a wild card. They had a collapse against the Mariners a couple years ago. They got swept, I think, by the Minnesota Twins. They missed the playoffs last year. Then kind of felt like everything went together this year. They think they had a first-year manager. They added a couple improvements into their bullpen. So it felt like the talent they've had for a couple of years now finally came together. And I do think they're gonna win 2 games. So it'll be the Dodgers will take it in 6.
Okay.
I think these Dodgers pitchers are well rested. They really didn't play all season. I'm saying the Dodgers go 12-1 this postseason.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Well, I think that we're going to have a hell of a series, and I'll tell you why. Because the Dodgers did not run away from anybody this year, but they gained a lot. And I say that because of the challenges they got from San Diego, San Francisco, in that division of theirs. So even though they weren't as dominating as some people look at right away and say, oh, yeah, they're going to sweep this, sweep that, the chances are that they've gained a great edge, like I said, in this particular season, where they had injuries, where they were facing obstacles, where they weren't winning every series. Heck, they got swept in a number of series during the summer, as we remember. Dodgers lost 3 in a row to so-and-so? Yeah, they did. Hard to believe. Milwaukee Brewers or whoever played them. Now, the Tigers, my team, lost all 3 of them. Remember, Jeremy? The opening week of the year, we couldn't even get a doggone win out there in L.A. But all that, and then Toronto, fascinating. What kind of environment do we have right now? U.S. tension against Canada, right? Canadians don't want to come to America to visit anymore. I think this is so appropriate and ironic that we got an American and Canadian World Series. I love it. And I just hope there's no booing for our anthem, and our fans, please don't boo the Canadian anthem, because you guys know that has to be sung before every one of these 7 games. I'm going to go with Dodgers in 6.
George, I understand you're talking about the Dodgers and the regular season. The Brewers were 6-0 against them. And then look what they did in the NLCS, 0-4. To Adam's point, all of their pitchers were on the injured list for a bit of the season.
A bit. They had 8. I think they had 32 starting pitchers at one. It felt like in 1 month.
Exactly.
And I know there's only 31 days.
I know
but it felt like you never knew who was starting for the Dodgers.
Other than Shohei Ohtani, all 4 of their starters that was behind them in the rotation did not get healthy till 2 weeks before the end of the season, which is why they were finally able to stave off and do something and get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's what Adam meant by those pitchers are well rested, because they only pitched a fifth of what they were supposed to in the season.
They figure they're like
Oh,
almost in June, June ready
Yeah.
right about now.
And they've had off since what, to Saturday? I don't even know when was the final game. They've had off that many days to get more rest.
Wasn't that
Friday
Friday when I wrote the article?
Yeah, but they can
Oh.
that can backfire on you too, having too much rest. The
Yeah.
Tigers had that happen against them, and they played the Giants that one year.
If the Blue Jays would have played the same night, they'd have been playing Monday. But because Blue Jays played on Saturday, they moved it to Tuesday. It's not
I
a
can't-
whole week off.
And just for everyone that watches Toronto sports, Toronto went through and reorganized all the start times for their games. If anyone didn't see that yet,
Yeah, to make it so it's more watchable for the West Coast as well, because LA's in.
And
Oh,
I
that-
will say I saw a stat, and I don't remember what it was, but more than times than not, the team that took the previous series to 7-1 actually wins versus the team that only did 0-4. Now, I don't know that that's going to be the case here. I really think the Dodgers have the pitchers, have the bats. I mean, let's face it, Shohei Ohtani beat the Brewers in one game alone all by himself.
Yeah,
The
Yeah.
last game, the sweeping game,
yeah,
he literally he had 10 strikeouts. He had 3 hits, all of them home runs, and
Yep.
only gave up 2.
Yep, exactly.
Only
So-
gave up 2 hits as a pitcher. He didn't. Did he walk one? Didn't he walk one guy too? So he put 3 base runners on, but
well,
striking
I
out
was
10.
I was more impressed with the Brewers series because Shohei was what, 2 for 28 or something going into game 4. So the Dodgers right there and like throughout that whole series showed that they can still win even when Shohei is not shown up.
Correct.
So-
Mhm.
Yeah.
When,
you're right. Well, his whole postseason, was very weak until that
he bet-
breakout
until-
game.
until that breakout game, he was batting 130 for the playoffs.
There you go. Thanks, Jeremy.
Here's another one for you. Eduardo Suarez. And I've heard all of the Detroit media that's on the airwaves talk about how we should have traded for him. Do you know what he batted from the All-Star break when he was traded until the playoffs started?
He kind of had a little bit of a slump, I think.
A little bit.
Yeah,
He was 178. In other words, he was 32 points lower than the average of the Tigers baseball team. And everybody says, oh, he'd have helped us get to the playoffs better. We might have been able to stave off losing the division.
Well,
He
I think
batted worse than our worst player. in that
well,
stretch.
yeah, that gets into the whole other subject about did Detroit do enough? They did not do enough to try to boost that team,
I know.
that lineup.
I just hate when I hear we should have got Suarez because he hit a grand slam in the playoffs in the series after us. Guess what? He had 3 hits the entire series versus the Tigers in 5 games.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, with
Yeah,
that being
I get irritated by stupid stuff like that.
no. I mean, I just think the Dodgers are going to take it. As much as I would love to see Donnie baseball, like let's face it, he's in the World Series now as a coach. Love to see him get a ring. I don't see it happening this time. As much as I would love to see him get a ring, and for any of you that don't know, you can go to the South Florida Tribune YouTube channel. My husband Scott actually got a one-on-one interview with Don Mattingly when he was down here. Toronto was playing the Marlins. So that interview is actually up on our YouTube channel. So anyone that wants to go check it out, please do so.
That's awesome.
It
awesome.
was, because that doesn't happen. And when I contacted the PR department, I think they were kind of surprised. And then when I went up and talked to them after the fact, they're like, oh yeah, he said for sure he was going to do that. And the PR department said Donnie does not give out that many interviews anymore. And I said, to be honest with you, Scott and Donnie go all the way back to the Fort Lauderdale Yankees back in the 80s. So Scott's known Don for a long time. So, and they're like, well, hey, Donnie was more than welcome, wanted to do it. So we're glad we got it worked out. And so you guys can see the results on the YouTube channel.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I gotta say this because in one of the Facebook chat groups I'm in, it's a Vikings chat because they're a part of the Huddle Network. And he just said, "Man, I think Khalil Mack has bought a house in the backfield of the Minnesota Vikings." One of their fans said, "No, it's a timeshare. I'll explain it to you sometime."
Oh man!
Wow, man! When your own fans are trashing you like that.
So, maybe did you see this Pacer game went into overtime?
Who are they playing again?
Oklahoma.
Oh, snap. I know we play the Pacers next week. I'll be interested to see how that goes.
Take it, you're a Hawks fan too?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, George, what happened to your Red Wings tonight?
We don't want to talk about that. You save that for our town. No, they lost 7-2. So they lost 2 in a row after playing so well. They lose to Buffalo, and now they lost to New York Islanders tonight. So, anyways, we'll see. Will the real Red Wings please stand up? Remember that old line you'd used for?
Oh yeah. Well, when it comes to the Red Wings, I said when they went to 1-5 straight and went to 5-1, I said it's not how they start, it's how they finish. That's right. The problem with this team the last 2 years, and if they don't finish in the playoffs this year, I personally am done with the Yzer plan.
A lot of people feel that way too, Jeremy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of people here feel that way.
So I am going to give prompts to Milwaukee, and it was the Bucks last night. The Bucks actually hosted, and I know it was only the Washington Wizards, but as you know, they had traded away Chris Middleton, and Chris Middleton plays for Washington, and he came back to Milwaukee last night, and they cheered him. They gave him props as he came into the facility. There was a bunch of employees there giving him high fives and stuff like that. And I just think Chris meant a lot to Milwaukee, and he did a lot for the town. And so I think it was nice that they did that kind of a welcome back. You don't always see that, especially since he's still playing for a different team. So, but switching from anybody else want to talk NBA? Is there any NBA?
Well, the Hawks had their opener last night at home against the Raptors. Didn't go well. We didn't shoot well. Turned the ball over a lot. Couldn't play defense. They had 82 points in the paint. The Raptors had 82 points in the paint last night. And the fact that they shot, I think, 6 for 23 from downtown and still won by 20. Our interior defense has been a problem for years. And with the additions we've made, the hope was that would kind of change. But look, there's still a lot of talent on this team. It's one game out of 82, a lot of season left. But just kind of disappointing that the Hawks couldn't have put up a better fight last night, especially at home.
I have a question for all of you. Is Oronde Gadsden going to be Rookie of the Year?
I think it's still Egbuka right now. It's Egbuka's award to lose right now.
Well, Gadsden's making a strong case for it right now.
Yeah, I'd still put Tyler Warren ahead of him as well. I'd say it's Egbuka, Warren, and then Gadsden in that order.
What about Cooper? Cooper, did you say?
Cooper who?
Cooper who?
Yeah, Cooper.
I got the name wrong.
Okay. I was like going Cooper.
Flag.
Oh, that's college. He was talking pro.
No,
I was talking NFL.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. You were changed. Okay, you changed the NFL.
Yeah, I knew. Like Cooper. Like I can't give Cooper Flag Rookie of the Year after one game.
No.
I think he had 6 points last night or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Wow.
But he'll get better.
Oh yeah.
So definitely. Adam, I have a question for you. Since our teams play against each other this weekend, Do you think Aaron Rodgers wins and then he will have beaten every team in the league and join a very elite? There's only what, five other.
There's
Four others. He'll be the fifth.
He'll be the
Oh.
fifth. Or will it be the first time the Packers win in Pittsburgh since 1970?
I have it 31-24 Packers.
Wow.
This is one of
Well,
I have it written down, and I was like, I can't go against what I wrote down in the beginning of the season, so I'm sticking with it. This is one of my losses.
I have him winning.
Who's we?
I said I have them winning, and I meant the Steelers.
Okay.
And Candy knows why. I don't even have to put out the initials.
So Candy, do you like the fact that Aaron Rodgers said he was going to retire Packer?
He had said that a long time ago, though, that's where he made the bulk of his money. That's where he did his MVP. That's where he's. I mean,
On the Super
I
Bowl?
agree with that. I mean, he played the most years for the Packers.
I mean, that makes sense. He was there for like what,
18
years. So I feel like that would be the only thing that made sense. But
I thought that made sense too.
the one thing that would have made this game better is if the game was in Green Bay. I wish the game was in Green Bay and he would be going back to Green Bay. And I think is that a Sunday night game as well?
It is.
Yes, Chris Collinsworth's going to have a blast.
Oh, yeah. Like that would have made it 10 times better. But with that being said, I think the Packers are a better team than the Steelers. The Packers will come out with the win, but I think it'll be a close game. I know the Steelers are going to want to win that game for Aaron Rodgers, so it should be exciting.
I think they all want to win. I mean, let's face it, they all want to win every Sunday, but I do think this is what I'm going to say. If the Packers can be disciplined, I think they can win. They've shot themselves in the foot and let a lot of teams keep the score close or beat us. So I really think that, but I think it'll be interesting because, seeing our old quarterback playing, in Pittsburgh, but I think the Packers can pull it out.
I was going to ask if we were in the fourth quarter and that game going on right now, but we're in the third. And just to let everyone know, Jordan Addison just scored a touchdown in the third quarter.
Good. I've got him as my flex.
I'll go with Pittsburgh. I'll take the Steelers this game. Then you guys are all picked Green Bay.
I picked
didn't.
Steelers.
You two Detroit.
Look, the Steelers are my team, but I still think Green Bay is coming out on this game.
Now I'll go with Pittsburgh by a final of 27-24.
That sounds
real close.
Right for the two NFC North Division opponent people to pick against.
Right, they're not going to pick the Packers.
No,
right.
I just think. I still think at this point, Jordan Love is not as good of a quarterback as Aaron Rodgers. I don't see the excellent completion percentage every week. I don't see the great decision making every week. I see some mechanical flaws in his game. Oh, Joey Usto, what's up, my friend?
What's up, Jerry?
He is a resident Eagles fan. If I had my show going in my StreamYard, I'd be playing that little clip from the Ali movie. Oh, we're talking about who's going to win between the Steelers and the Packers. I say the Steelers are going to win because they're at home. If it was in Green Bay, I'd pick Green Bay. And I'm going with
you wouldn't pick Green Bay at all.
I picked Green Bay the last 3 weeks in a row. I am not picking them this week because they had their 3 wins. It's time for them to have their letdown because it's mid-season when Jordan Love becomes human again.
I don't think it's going to be against Aaron, though.
Okay.
So we'll see. We'll see.
Yep.
What other games are you guys interested in the NFL this weekend?
I think one game I'm looking at is I had the schedule in front of me. So I think one game I'm looking at is the Bills playing the Panthers. The Bills are coming off the bye. The Panthers have won yeah. The Panthers have won 3 straight. They beat the Dolphins, they beat the Cowboys, and it was an ugly one, but they pulled out against the Jets. It's kind of unknown whether or not Bryce Young plays on Sunday. Rico Dowdle right now is having a great year. Seems like the Cowboys made a mistake letting him go. Now, if Andy Dalton plays, the thing about that is, and I reference Rico Dowdle for that reason, is that the Bills have the 31st ranked run defense. Bijan Robinson just ran for 180 in like 100, I think 180 yards on them.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
And then Tyler Algier, I think he had like 50 or 60 yards himself as well on a touchdown. So they haven't been able to stop the run all year. I think Matt Milano was, I think, one step closer to playing in the game against us. So with them having the bye, I think there is a good chance he plays on Monday. So I think he will help with their run defense. They just did get Ed Oliver back as well in their last game. But the thing is, and what people haven't talked about is their offense has struggled. In their last 2 games, which are losses to New England at home and then, of course, at Atlanta, they've turned the ball over 5 times. And Josh Allen has accounted for 3 or 4, I think 4 of them. It had a fumble and a pick against New England and 2 interceptions at Atlanta. So he hasn't played necessarily well. And I think their issue with the Bills, and one of the things outside of their run defense that's going to stop them from getting over the hump in this wide open AFC again, is there is no true number 1. And if they were to go after something at the deadline, that would be getting a number 1 on the outside. Because I mean, you have James Cook and what he can do in the passing game. You've got Dawson Knox, you've got Kincaid, but there's no true threat on the outside. Keon Coleman's nice. You've got Josh Palmer, he's solid, but those are not true number
Shakir.
ones. Yeah, you have Shakir in the slot. My fault, but there's no true number 1, and I think that's what's.
And Keon Coleman's still out.
Keon Coleman
Kincaid is doubtful, so he's more than likely out.
He didn't play against us, but
Right.
in general, I feel like they need a number 1.
They've needed a number 1 for every year that they came up short against KC.
Well, I mean,
I saw they were trying to get Chris Olave. Oh my gosh, Olave today. Yes, I saw that they were putting a push for him.
Yeah, I mean that'd be a good get from him. The only issue is he can't stay healthy. He's had, I think, 4 or 5 concussions since he's been in the league.
That is one of his major issues for sure.
Yeah, so that's going to be an interesting game to watch. How does Carolina fare against a still overall a good Bills team? And then
although Carolina is at home, so that does help.
Yeah, and they are 3-0 at home this year.
Mm-hmm.
And then, believe it or not, the Giants and the Eagles. The Eagles got beat bad against the Giants last time they played. Their offense kind of looked better at Minnesota. Jalen Hurts played a little bit better than I thought than he has early on in the year. Jackson Dart, I thought, has looked pretty good considering that he doesn't have Malik Neighbors so far for his first couple of games. So that game will be in Philadelphia. The Giants haven't won there since 2014. I got the Eagles winning that game, but it'll be interesting to see how the Eagles bounce back.
And Joey, we appreciate your comments, and I would agree. This is one of the strangest NFL seasons
Okay.
I've seen.
So
More parity.
I want to see if the Baltimore Ravens defense finally shows up this season, or if they remain on the bench and let Chicago walk all over them. They are averaging I don't care. They are averaging giving up 130 yards on the ground per team they play this year. It's worst in the league. They're giving up 280 yards per game passing, which is 18. So you can't have both. You can't be 32nd in one and less than half in the other. There has to be some balance on your defense, and right now all their balance is all bad.
Yeah.
So I think the Chicago's going to end up walking the floor with them. I think DeAndre Swift might get his second 100-yard rushing game in a row in his career, and he's never done that before, even when he was with Detroit.
Are you rooting for the Bears?
I said I'm thinking the Bears are going to beat Baltimore, yes, and that's why I want the Steelers to win. They got to maintain the lead over the Bungles.
Oh, the only one I'm really looking forward to, Candy, is the magic of Indianapolis, the Colts. 8-1 right now. Who would have thunk it, huh?
Yep.
Yeah,
Daniel
but they're playing
Jones.
the Titans.
They're playing the.
Nothing.
They'll be 8-1 after they play the Titans. That's for
Okay.
sure.
Jones is the 5th rated quarterback in the NFL right now. 1,700, almost 1,800 yards, and only 3 intercepts. I mean, he is playing really, really great football right now, and the Colts are just like, they're just working miracles. But again, it's what happens at the end of the year, not what you do right now, but they are laying the groundwork for a possible AFC showdown, I call it, in the championship game, maybe the Colts against Kansas City. But they're definitely going to win that game over Tennessee, no question about it. I really think that they've done a nice job, and Detroit's got a bye, so the Lions got a week off to try to rest some of the injuries. So they came really out all guns with that Monday night win over Tampa. We'll talk a little bit more about that later.
I want to bring that up because I posted it today. I seen all over Detroit media this week them calling the secondary the Legion of Whom. I've been calling this damn defense this since all the injuries back at Thanksgiving. It's in print, and I posted it again today.
Give credit to where credit is due. Jeremy started it, right?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, it was on my podcast and on the podcast right here. The week after Thanksgiving, when I said that the Chicago Bears faced the Legion of Whom and lost, and it was more they lost than the Lions won because of that very poor clock management between Eberflus and Williams.
Yeah.
But the other game I'm interested in seeing is, will that unstoppable offense finally meet a defense that blows them up again? And that's Dallas, the 1-star rating system versus the Broncos in Denver.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
I'm curious to see if Tua can see over the line to throw the ball.
We talked about that before the show. If you'd have been here, we'd have had that discussion.
Yeah, well, again, about that depends on which Falcons team shows up. Which team are we at? It's been a roller coaster. We have a good win one week, a tough loss at home another week to Tampa. That awful game at Carolina, our offense clicks against Washington. We look good against Buffalo. Then we struggle against the 49ers with all the injuries they have defensively. It's been a roller coaster ride, and it depends on which team shows up. On paper, this game shouldn't even be close. The Falcons should win this game easily. But again, my concern is it looks like Jalen Walker is going to be out for that game, and he's been really good for us setting the edge against the run. And I am kind of worried about, can we contain Devon Achane, especially with Divine Diablo out for several weeks. We got J.D. Bertrand in there at linebacker. So if they can contain Divine Diablo and we use Bijan and Tyler and gash Miami's 32nd ranked rushing defense, there should be no reason as to why they lose this game. But again, which team is going to get off the bus if they do get off the bus? So, yeah.
George, one little nugget is there is a chance, and for those of you that know, last year we covered the Miami Hurricanes, and obviously Cam Ward was one of the quarterback that we covered. He threw so many times down in Miami to Xavier Restrepo. There is a chance that they're going to call Xavier Restrepo up off the practice squad and activate him. So we'll see if they do and what kind of if they have success, the tandem that had success in Miami.
That would be something special, Candy, if they worked out that way. It sure would. There's not much cheering going on right now. Unfortunately, the University of Miami has dropped. What, 2 out of the last 3 have they lost, I think?
No, they just lost this last one. They just lost one.
Oh, that's
They
right. 'Cause They
dropped-
played the Jets the week before, didn't
No, I'm talking the Hurricanes. I'm sorry. I was talking about
Oh.
college.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they just lost
yeah.
this last one
Yeah.
to Louisville.
They
Yeah.
did drop to 12th in the rankings, though. They did fall
Yes.
pretty sharp.
They
pretty
did.
far there.
They dropped them. Yep.
I
Which
get
I'm
it.
surprised they didn't drop further, actually, Candy. I'm surprised they didn't drop to like 18th for losing to an unranked team.
No, I get it. I get it.
But
Although-
I was impressed when I saw 12, so I was like, okay.
Yeah, let's wait and
Yeah.
see what happens this weekend down in Hard Rock Stadium
Yes.
when they play
Yes.
Stanford. So
But yeah, you were talking about that reunion. That'd be great to see that with Cam Ward.
it would be. And anybody
Yeah.
that wants to go to, again, the South Florida Tribune YouTube page, we have interviews with Cam Ward up there and Xavier from last year. So if you want to go back and reconnect some of those, you can. But
Samir,
okay.
I have a question for Samir. Are you
Yeah.
starting to look at the Pitt game more than the Georgia game?
I don't know. I'm looking at both. I think Pitt's going to be a tough out. Like even Syracuse, I mean, they're not great, but
Pitt just destroyed them.
yeah, but I don't know.
But it was all in the fourth quarter, Samir. So don't, Pitt won that game mainly in the fourth quarter. They did not look good for 3 quarters, and in the fourth quarter they finally woke up.
Yeah, so I think we'll see. Georgia's defense is not very good this year, especially up front. Like their defensive line has been really good for so many years. This year has kind of been against the norm for them. They can't run the ball. They really had a hard time stopping the run. Their offense woke up in the second half. They had to come back and beat Ole Miss last week. So, and keep in mind, it took them 8 or 9 overtimes to beat Georgia Tech last year, and that was at Sanford Stadium. The game is not at Georgia Tech. It's neutral site. It'll be at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. But I would not be surprised if Georgia Tech is possibly favored in that game because Georgia Tech averages over or closer over 200 yards a game on the ground, and Georgia can't stop the run this year. So I think it'll be interesting to see how that ends up. But I think Pitt's going to be a tough out as well. So, definitely a lot of games to be played before they get to the ACC championship and, of course, the playoff. But, yeah.
I think I'm just curious, like if there's going to be a strong Pitt showing, since Pitt to Atlanta is a pretty just one-stop shop.
Yeah, it's possible because and I don't think this is a good example because the Steelers fan base does have a national following. It's not just Pittsburgh, but every time Pittsburgh comes not only to Atlanta, but anywhere, any stadium they play in, it's basically a home game or a neutral site game at best. Their fans take over virtually every stadium. Now, I don't know if that's going to be the case for Pitt football.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Samir. Like once Pittsburgh, like if Pittsburgh had a winning baseball team, we'd probably follow them on the road more.
Oh yeah.
Uh-oh.
We lost you, Samir.
That being said, the game I'm looking forward to in college, and I'm going to challenge him right now: Little Brother versus Big Brother, right here in the state of Michigan.
You
The
bet.
Paul Bunyan Trophy. I
Yes,
challenge the Spartans to score 14 points. Because my God, they lost 4 in a row at 27 points scored against them.
Did I lose you guys?
Yeah, you
Yep.
lost.
Yes, you did.
Sorry. Yes. Yeah. What I was saying is, I do think that, because, it wouldn't surprise me with the Pirates because,
Go Pack, go all day. You're right. The Vikings are in trouble. They're sitting there like Nelson on the back of the school
Yeah.
bus on the Simpson. Goes, I'm in trouble.
yeah, but Adam, as I was gonna say was that, I do remember that clip from the Pirates game like years ago, that wild card game when they played the Reds, and the guy's name was Cueto, right? The pitcher for the Reds.
Yeah, he dropped it.
Yeah. So yeah, like that's what I
Russ
think.
Martin
So I
hit the
mean,
home run on the next
yeah,
pick.
like I do feel like if you guys got better ownership that actually invested in the team, yeah, that'd be a pretty slept on fan base. So
And
it'll
there it
it'll
is.
be interesting.
It is now 31-10.
Good
Chargers
grief.
over
Yeah.
the Vikings.
Yeah, I think Trey Harris just scored his first touchdown too as a rookie.
Oh, good for him.
Good for him. Yeah.
Yeah.
So did I think Vidal scored his first touchdown tonight too. But Samir, back to your point, yes, if we have winning teams, we travel with them. We will you'll see even if they're not, you'll still catch Pirate clothes here and there in the stadium.
Yeah.
And I remember whenever I went to Baltimore, I was those Pirate. I just went there to see Camden Yards, and there was a guy in a Jason Bay jersey. I'm like, okay, I guess I could have worn my Bay jersey, or one of my Pirate jerseys, but I didn't because I didn't even know I was going to go to the game actually, but I ended up going. So, but it was cool. I ended up seeing someone in Jason Bay jersey.
Oh, that's cool.
But yes, we travel well if we're doing well. So don't be surprised you see a lot of blue and yellow. And November 22nd, I believe we play Georgia Tech.
I'm laughing at Go Pack Go all day. I do know for a fact because I've had a Vikings fan on my NFL Roundtable talk, Michael Johnson, and just before the season, he said, if the Vikings sign Aaron Rodgers, I'm becoming a Lions fan.
Better than JJ McCarthy.
JJ McCarthy's not in. It's Carson Wentz.
I'm just saying, Aaron. I don't know. I never been.
I think they made the mistake of letting Darnold walk out the door because Darnold's looking pretty good for the Seahawks.
I mean that he is, and that's one thing I was wrong about, or the two things I was wrong about this offseason were that and the Colts' decision to move on from Anthony Richardson to go to Daniel Jones. I was wrong about both of those things. I was wrong about the Vikings one because I was like, okay, Kevin O'Connell just has his way with quarterbacks. He's got like a thing to where you could put anyone back there and he could go out and win games. I mean, look, he won games with Josh Dobbs at quarterback a couple years ago. I mean, people basically threw Sam Darnold in the trash, and he had a career year. Kirk Cousins was playing borderline MVP ball his first year there with Kevin O'Connell, was having another great year the year after until he tore his Achilles. So I was like, okay, he's that guy where he's like a Shanahan McVay tier where you can put anyone back there and he'd do well, but JJ McCarthy just can't stay healthy.
I don't put that one up there, but it's funny. I can't address what you said by repeating it, but I agree. He does need the protection of a good old line.
Yeah. Yeah, the Vikings O-line, they're injured and they haven't been good. So
right, 31-10.
Yeah, Christian Watson's made of glass too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, Candy has talked about Christian Watson being made of glass with me before.
It's horrible. I'm sitting on my IR and I'm like, do I finally just release this guy or?
Yeah,
he's good when he plays.
He's going to come back, but yeah. They're talking about bringing that he's healthy, I think. So
yeah, he's been in limited practice for the last week.
Yeah, Candy, I haven't heard much from him, but how's Matthew Golden been for the Packers?
He's doing well. He's
starting to come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I just, will he make it through the game or won't he? That's the question with Christian Watson. Marshawn Lloyd is made of glass. This is the problem when somebody finds a workhorse type of back out of college, one that touches the ball more than 400 times a year and runs for 2 years.
Ollie Gordon.
Like Marshawn Lloyd, they end up being hurt a lot of their NFL career because everybody's stronger, faster, and bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So, Samir, to your point, Golden has 18 receptions for 249 yards, averaging 13.8 yards, but he has not had any touchdowns yet. So that remains to be seen. So it'll be interesting to see.
I still think it's a little bit of Jordan Love is comfortable with who he's comfortable, the guys he's played 2 years in a row with, versus
Right.
whether or not Golden is good.
Right. I agree with that. I think he's getting more comfortable with him, and I think it just depends on who if he's getting open too.
According to the stats, that's his first interception for Wentz today. The other one was Justin Herbert throwing an interception.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they both have.
Oh yeah, I raved about Golden's hands coming out of college.
Mm-hmm.
I think what stood out about him was his route running as well. He's a really good route runner, I know, at Texas.
That's why they're using him in the slot, that and his size.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Yep. Okay. I think it's anything more, or I think it's time for my town.
So
We can talk about my town. So who's going to go first, Samir?
Yeah, I'll go first. So the Braves are still going through their managerial search.
Chipper.
No. I just don't think he'd make a good manager. A good hitting coach, yes, but manager, I just feel like I don't know. But I mean, there have been some candidates that have, based off of what I've heard, kind of have been some surprise front runners. It doesn't seem like it's going to be Walt Weiss, which I thought would be the case considering their tendency to kind of go in house. Seems like it's going to be Danny Liam. I think he's the Dodgers bench coach. That's one candidate I've heard. George Lombard played for the organization. Has connections to some of the players and some of the people on the coaching staff. And then Eddie Perez. He's been on the coaching staff for several years. He played for them for several years as well. So it seems like it's going to come down to those three. Disappointing opening night for the Hawks, as I mentioned, against the Toronto Raptors. 20-point loss, 82 points in the paint. Not something you really want to see given the offseason additions we made. Falcons have Georgia Tech. First off, this is their homecoming weekend. They play Syracuse. Think they're overwhelming favorites again. The game is almost sold out. They reached 50,000 capacity for the first time since 2015 in their last home game against Virginia Tech. I expect there to be even more, maybe close to a sellout, if not a sellout, on Saturday, given that it's homecoming weekend.
Are you going?
And then I'll be there. I'm going to be covering it, actually. And then, as I was going to get into, as I mentioned earlier, must-win game for the Falcons at home. This is a game they have no business losing. The
No
Dolphins,
reason to listen to the Panthers either, but
well, I think the Panthers.
This is worse.
Yeah, this is worse. The Dolphins, like, people talk about coaches losing the locker room. That team has quit. Like, they've shut it down. And honestly,
Tua can't see over the line. He can't throw the ball.
well, no, like
He
I'm
admitted
surprised-
that. He said it on. He said it on. Do you
And
listen to
honestly-
these weird Tua press conferences, guys?
Yeah, and then Mike McDaniel's like, well, let's just not throw 10 interceptions this week. Like they've packed it in. So like there is absolutely no reason as to why you should lose this game. If you win at home, you take care of business. You're 4-3. Tampa Bay is banged up. I expect them to take care of the Saints, though. Carolina's got a tough out with Buffalo. So if you win and you get help from either New Orleans or Buffalo, you're back in it. And then, but the thing is, you've got two really tough matchups on the road at New England, and then overseas in Berlin, or not Berlin. or Munich against a very good Colts team. So it doesn't get much more than a must win than this one. If you lose, then I think Raheem Morris's seat is going to go from warm to hot. And things could get very interesting. You could be looking at 3-6 after those next 2 games. So you win, everything's fine. You lose, things could get very interesting. And it just depends on which team shows up. And that's it for my town.
Adam, you want to go?
Sure. So on the Penguins in the My Town section, Crosby passes Lemieux for the all-time points leader in the franchise history. Just to let everyone know, Crosby did it in 600 more games than Lemieux.
Right.
So
In perspective.
and right now they're 5-2, third in the Metro. The young core and the old core are mixing up very well, and that's why we've had a very strong start. The Pirates got Will Robertson from the White Sox today. This is big news here. I don't know why. And Skeens made the USA All-Star Award. They had another collection trophy. I don't know what. Did they give anything for that, or is it just a
All-Star Award? What do you mean?
I don't know. That's just what I read. I didn't really read the article. It just said Skeens gets another award from the U.S.
Who won the Cy Young again?
Nobody. Those awards have not been announced yet.
Because people are saying it's already Curry. But anyway.
No, that's why I was asking Adam there. I'm not familiar with that award, All-Star or something award.
Yeah, USA Today All-Star Award.
Oh,
okay. Well, he's going to win the Cy Young. We know that.
Rick.
Okay.
Why? Why?
What?
And then the Steelers. We talked about Rodgers will retire Packer. Just to let everyone know, we did have 4 players advance on to the next round of Hall of Fame voting: Ward Harrison, Gary Anderson, and Pouncey. So that was good. And then the Panthers play NC State, and 4th in the ACC. 2 Pitt Panther basketball guys got preseason recognition today: Roman Sipula and Amari Witherspoon. And that's there's a lot of other teams to talk about in our town, but those are the 4 major.
George, why don't you talk about your town and a little bit about your experience Monday night?
Well, yeah, I mean, this was a really unbelievable atmosphere at Ford Field. No question about it. They were all charged up, as were the players, especially the defense. And a guy named Gibbs on offense. What a terrific game. As I know, Jeremy, you've talked about since Monday night's game. Just dynamic, 78 yards. Is that what it was? 76-yard run.
78-yard run.
Yeah.
What's real significant about that, when they did that GPS track of his satellite chip in the shoulder pad, he hit 22.2 miles per hour for the fastest running back this year.
I heard that. Yeah, that's amazing. That was really amazing. And, the linebacking core, of course, Jack Campbell did a fantastic job. I mean, the place was just dynamic, as you know. Baker couldn't even get enough time to obviously quiet down any of the crowd whenever they were trying to snap the ball. And, of course, Aleem McNeil came home, and that was great. Finally, he's back as a stalwart on the defensive line. I think they're going to really, really need him. The double and triple teaming Hutchinson so much. But I guess that's okay, because if other guys could step up, you can't have 3 guys on one player, right? Yeah. And, the other question mark, though, Jeremy, I felt was, again, not too much Jameson Williams. I mean, there's so many things that he does away from the ball, as we know. But as far as his stats goes, he was only a target twice.
Right.
I found that
one drop, and the other one was an errant throw that ended up being the interception because it was short of him.
Yeah.
So, it wasn't that horrible of a throw like everybody's saying it was. If you look, he was on target. The guy made a great play jumping the route. So I'm not going to fault that too much. What I wanted to talk about is an interesting stat I saw. Jahmyr
Sure.
Gibbs just played his 39th game, and he just scored his 38th touchdown. You know who's the only other Lion to do that in 39 games?
Sanders?
None other than the GOAT, Barry Sanders.
Yeah. Wow.
So he's hitting that elite level that I said that he could. Because remember, when I was asked about him after the draft that year, I said he has a little bit of that Barry-esque thing. And then we watched Inside the 10 when Barry rode with him. He goes, "What? I used to use you on Madden as a kid because I didn't have a PlayStation. I didn't have a Xbox. I had a Super Nintendo playing Tecmo Bowl 3." And he's absolutely right. There was two guys unstoppable on that game at running back. It was Barry Sanders and Bo Jackson.
Yeah.
If you used either one of those two, you had the power move of being able to bull rush with Bo, or the spin move that would throw people off of you.
Yeah, that's some great company. Oh my God. Yeah, Gibbs was just sensational. And the
Well,
other
yeah.
one, Candy, you already stole my thunder. The Red Wings have lost 2 in a row now. Detroit Pistons are 0-1. They dropped against Chicago, a game they should have won. They battled back. They came back from such a deficit.
Didn't they
And,
they were leading at the end of the third quarter or shortly into the fourth, and then ended up losing it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awful.
And they're, again, it's only one game. Their next game is going to be, I believe, tomorrow night in Houston. And nothing. I'm not saying anything about the Tigers right now. It was very disappointing the way that game and that series ended up against Seattle.
Yeah, you heard what Dan Dickerson said at the end while his mic was still hot.
Yes.
Commercial. He goes, "We got to do a recap. F this recap."
Yeah.
That was the funniest thing I ever heard on live radio in my life.
Yeah.
I know he's going to get a
We did
fine
talk
from the
about
FCC.
that. Yeah. On
You
another show.
remember when the Browns had Foker on their team? Quarterback?
Yeah.
They
And
had a quarterback named
position?
Fooker. And
Cooker?
Myron Cope. And Myron Cope.
F-O-O-K-E-R, right? F-O-O-K-E-R was the guy.
Cooker? Or
And-
when did he
No,
play
F.
for them?
Fooker. F.
Fooker.
Fooker.
Yeah.
Myron Cope.
It's-
Myron Cope was announcing the game, and
Wait, when was this? I don't remember that. When was this?
It was a long time ago.
Was it the old Cleveland Browns or the new Browns?
the old Browns.
Oh,
Well,
And
Well,
Myron
we all-
Cope was like, "Fucker with the interception."
yeah. Well, you guys know that it was Washington Redskins versus the Kansas City Chiefs the last time that John Madden was on CBS with Pat Summerall announcing a game, right?
I don't remember what game it was, but yeah,
It was that game.
yeah.
Because what happened was Reggie Rucker intercepted Joe Theismann. And Reggie Rucker starts running it the other way, and he goes, "Look at that effer go!" on live TV. And that was the last time he worked. And that was 1988, I believe. And then 3 years later, Fox started NFL Sunday in 1991.
Anything else, George, in your town, or Jeremy? Both are.
Yep.
Well, I'm going back to what I had alluded to. The reason why I'm bringing up the Legion of Whom. Out of our 5 starting defensive backs, only one, and he wasn't even playing in the right position, was Amik Robertson. Brian Branch was out due to suspension. Kirby Joseph was nursing a knee. Terrion Arnold was nursing his, was it calf or ankle or something like that? Correct, George? Lower leg.
Yeah.
And then we lose Rock Ya-Sin to cramps in that game, and we have to bring in a 5th no-name practice squad guy that we just signed to the active roster, UFL's St. Louis Battlehawk, Nick Whiteside from Avondale High School right here in Michigan,
Yeah.
went to SVSU and came in for the last quarter. And what does he do? He bats away 3 of the most accurate passes that Baker Mayfield had all night that was heading to Ibuka. And in perfect coverage, not being handsy, doing the right thing. That Legion of Whom secondary that everybody's bragging about and saying that was the Legion of Whom, I was like, they all forget that started a year ago now. That was Nick Whiteside, Thomas Harper, Eric Hallett, Rock Ya-Sin, because he was a backup. He was not a starter. And who was the other one? There's one more.
Yeah, I don't recall the name on. Yeah,
But there was one more out there.
yeah.
I was like, oh, Lauren Strickland. Lauren Strickland was out there.
Yeah.
Those guys did their job. They frustrated between the front seven, frustrating Baker Mayfield. That defensive backfield got an interception from Thomas Harper. I believe it was Thomas Harper that did that, right? He ripped it. Oh, no, that was Mollett, Arthur Mollett. That's the other one I was thinking of. He ripped it out of K. Dotton's hands. And when they showed the replay, they were saying, oh, that was a catch. Both of them had the ball. No, he had his arm. Don't get
Oh, you
confused.
talking about that was a beautiful interception. It happened before half.
Yeah. The one that it actually happened at the beginning of the second half when he got the interception. But yeah, he ripped it right out of K.
What was the interception before half where he ripped it out of his hands at the sideline?
No, that was when Amik Robinson punched it out of K. Dotton's hand or Sterling Shepard's hand. Ended up being a fumble recovered by Jack Campbell. Oh, no, Hutchinson recovered it.
But yeah,
12 passes defended, 1 interception, 1 forced fumble, and 1 fumble recovery, all due to that no-name secondary that everybody wrote off before the game for the professionals. There was one person that predicted a win, and it was the only one that talks about how much they love Dan Campbell every day on her show, and that was Mina Kimes.
Yeah. I mean, credit to Dan Campbell. Because first off, I mean, I like Aaron Glenn, but the Lions defense this year looks 10 times better. And I like Aaron Glenn. It's unfortunate that he ends up having to coach a terrible organization, but the Lions defense looks a lot better. A lot better. They're a lot more aggressive.
Yes, and that's exactly what I wanted to see this season out of him. I wanted to reserve judgment. I said, if he uses a spy 3 times in the first game we play the Bears, because Caleb Williams likes to roll out, and also against Lamar Jackson, I said, he will be 10 times the coordinator of Aaron Glenn on accident, because in the 4 years that Aaron Glenn was here, he ran a spy 3 times total.
What about your town over there, Candy?
So, well, I know we've talked about the Packers going to Pittsburgh. I do want to give kudos to our backup kicker, who on Sunday kicked the longest field goal in Packer history at a 61-yarder.
Wow.
And he was a substitute teacher not too long ago. So, like, from substitute teacher to kicking in the NFL, Packers, Lucas have risk it. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but so yes, he hit a 61-yard field goal. They go to Pittsburgh. Obviously, they play Sunday night. The Brewers, yes, they got swept. They have a lot of work to do. I think that lineup is going to look completely different next year, especially their pitching. They have a lot of free agents and expiring contracts, and they're not going to be able to keep them all. So it'll be interesting off season for them. The Wisconsin Badgers got not. I honestly, I thought it was going to be worse at against Ohio State, but now they fly out to Oregon and they've got to play Oregon, and so I'm not expecting a lot. And what I will say is, for all those people that are saying fire Luke Fickell, I'm going to say only fire him if you can, 1, afford his salary, and 2, if you have a clear person that you have in mind to bring in that's going to do better.
Is this year 2?
This is year 3.
Is it year 3?
It is.
So he's 1 year away from having a full roster turnover from what he originally had, not including transfer portal, correct?
Right.
That's the year that should matter to colleges. Them getting rid of a college coach before year 4 makes no sense. in my opinion.
I understand.
So-
I understand.
I have a quick baseball question.
Yeah.
So is this the start of something big that the Giants just hired the first college coach to go straight from college to the MLB? How big of an impact do you guys think this is going to be on everything? I don't know the guy's name, but he did win the World Series in 2024.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's unprecedented for baseball, and that's
Mhm.
why it's kind of hard to tell because it's so different from football, basketball, where I think NFL teams, it's kind of like you normally don't hire coaches straight out of college as NFL head coaches because dealing with 20-year-olds is different than dealing with grown men with families. But baseball is different in the fact that it's really more about managing personalities. I mean, yeah, you have to manage, you have to know how to manage a bullpen. That's the one thing. You've got to know when to pull guys out and change lineups or do things differently or adjust when things aren't working. But majority of being a baseball manager is about managing personalities. But when you get to the playoffs, that's I think when you really know where you have to we're managing a bullpen because the games are a lot more low scoring where you got to manage a bullpen. You got to know when to pull guys out. You got to know when to pinch hit guys. It's a lot more complex than managing a game in June or July. So to be determined.
The only thing I'll add to that is, don't forget the Tigers were smart. They plucked the pitching coach of the University of Michigan Wolverines, Chris Fetters, and he has done a fantastic job. AJ Hinch, he works under AJ as the pitching coach. So I agree with what you're saying, Adam. It's unprecedented to become the manager. I'm just saying I think the Tigers did the right thing when they went and dipped into the college ranks to pick up Chris Fetters.
So
I want to give you guys a quick tail of the tape update between the Vikings with 10 and the Chargers with 34 and about to score again. 117 passing yards for the Vikings, 18 rushing yards, 3.3 yards per play, 9 first downs, 2 out of 10 on third down efficiency, 0 for 1 on fourth down, 41 total plays. Now let's look at the tail of the tape on the other side. 419 total yards, 212 passing, 207 rushing, 6 yards per play, 29 first downs, 9 of 13 on third down, and haven't gone for a fourth down and ran 70 total offensive plays with 39 minutes of time of possession.
Wow.
They're really good. But everyone laughed at me, Jeremy. Remember when I had the Vikings winning, 3 games?
They're going to win more than 3. But
But you know what I'm saying? Like, that's where I had them.
I know.
And everyone laughed at me.
No.
I don't think they're very good.
I said that they were going to be just like the Bears, but either one of them could be at 7 wins or one of them is going to be at 10 wins, but none of them are, not both of them at the same time.
Okay, with that being said, I think it's time to kind of wrap this up. So let's go around and let's tell everybody how they can get hold of you, find you, support you. George, why don't you start?
Okay, thank you, Candy. I write for the South Florida Tribune in addition to my local publication called the Detroit Monitor. And you can find my columns on the South Florida Tribune website in the contributor section. And I wrote a book. Oh, thanks, Jeremy. I appreciate that. Detroit Sports Broadcasters on the Air, chronicling 90 years of broadcasting. It's a remarkable story. And thank you very much. There's a link at the end of my column for going over to Amazon, if you will, like to purchase a copy. Appreciate it. You can reach me at gicorn@yahoo.com and on Twitter at SanGSports99. Thank you.
Samir, how can people find you?
You can find me on X at ATL_Samir2401. I post a lot of Atlanta sports-based content there, a lot of NFL content as well. I'm gonna post some of my articles, and when I publish them as well, both from my school's newspaper, Technique, and with Sideline Sports and South Florida Tribune. You can also find me here on Thursday nights on Fire Up. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'm looking forward to it next week.
Adam, how can people find you?
Hey, you can get me at Sports Talking Neat on Twitter. That's my Twitter handle right there. And then you can get me at Driving to the Top Productions. Also, I know I got here late, so I didn't flag to any of my channels tonight. Sorry, guys. So sorry. But hopefully, we pick up good stuff from your channels and get it out there. If you want to tag me in it, Candy, and share it that way, you can. Anyway, you can give me a Driving to the Top Productions on YouTube. Hit that like, subscribe button. Help us out. We're all just trying to grow. And you can give me a Sports Talking It and also Driving to the Top. And you can get me here on Thursday nights lately. I've been a pretty good solid host or guest. Almost said host, but Tuesday nights you can get me at Open Sports Mic with Jeremy over there. He joins us up. Me and Rich do sports, Pittsburgh sports on Wednesday nights at 9. We might move it to 8 so we can. Rich wants to pop over one of these times, Jeremy, just to let you know. It's getting closer. So, but just trying to get back into the swing of things, and
I'll tell you why I love Big Rich. I'll tell you why I love Big Rich, George and Candy. Big Rich is from Dallas, Texas, and he's a Pittsburgh fan. He hates the Cowboys.
We grew up. He was born in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, no, but where he lives now is down there in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's great.
Okay,
he
Jeremy.
worked for Baylor, worked for CBS Radio for 20 years.
Awesome.
Yeah, so
Right.
we need to get him. We will never have him on here because Thursday night is his wife and him. This has been his date night for ever. So
Never had.
I never see him here unless something tragic happens.
I don't want to see them here.
No, me neither. God.
That being said, you can find me right here on occasionally on Tuesdays and every Thursday on the South Florida Tribune, where we go live. I do Inside the Pigskin every now and then with Scott, and then here at the Country Club with Candy doing Fire Up. Then you can also find me on my channel, which is Kneecap Biting with the Motor City Lions, where I go live every day of the week, including when I'm on these shows because I stream it to my channel. You can also find me on the SouthFloridaTribune.com, where you'll find my writings underneath great guys like Scott Morganroth and George Eichhorn. And Samir, I see your name is listed below because of, well, it's alphabetical. That being said, you can also find me on the Huddle Sports Network, which is on YouTube. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and you can also, if you want to watch us on TV instead of seeing us on a phone or a laptop, you can download the Huddle Sports app on Roku or Amazon Fire Stick.
You forgot Rumble.
Rumble's still getting the kinks worked out. It's working occasionally. It didn't work this morning.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh.
Okay.
He said it was working on my end, but he said I didn't see it.
I'm going to plug my husband's book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. This is written by my husband, Scott, the Motor City Madmouth Morganroth. And the other thing is, the panelist here, Mr. George Eichhorn, wrote the foreword of this book, too. So go get this book. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. There's also a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where there is a plethora of great content. A lot of people write. George writes, Jeremy writes, Samir writes, my husband writes. I take pictures. Go check it out. If you like to listen to podcasts, you can find us wherever you get your podcast. If you want to advertise, you can call Scott 954-304-4941. And if you want to be a guest or have topic ideas, you can always email us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. More importantly, if you see that red subscribe button in that lower right-hand corner, click it, like it, share it, and then turn your notifications on so you're notified when we go live so you know to be here and can be tuning in. We love people in the chat room, so we want to thank everybody that's been in the chat room tonight. And I would tell everybody, please go to everybody else's channel and subscribe to their channels as well, because they're supporting us. We want you to support them as well.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Exactly. We all want to grow. That's what the name of the game is, right?
Yep.
Final score 37-10.
Yes. The Vikings defense is probably curled up in a corner of the locker room going, they just scored again.
Jeremy, you want to end us like you always do?
Try every day to be a better person than you were the day before, because that's the only way to make the world a better place. It starts right here. Much love to everybody in the chat. Thank you, George, Candy, Samir, and Adam for talking sports tonight. And let's try not to talk about that illegal gambling stuff. Let's get into actually some point spreads and do some real gambling and see how we can make ourselves some money.
Have a great week, everybody.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.